All right, I am live. I realize that right now I'm competing with Drawn and Quartered, which is some stiff competition. In fact, I wanted to watch it, but I've got some important news that I want to be showing you. So that's where we're gonna go. Hey, got someone here. Aaron, welcome, welcome. Uh, Lorenzo, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Brennan Pitts, welcome. Okay, so the reason why I'm streaming right now, this is not normal for me. I'm just going to be doing this by myself. Exactly. Let's see some art. That's exactly what I'm going to be showing you. So to preface this, I wanted to sort of go over some of my thought process and why I picked the artist that I did, and show you his portfolio. So we're going to be doing that portfolio review. Welcome, Gail. I'm glad you came hungry. Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen here. And I apologize, chat. I'm going to try and check on you as we go. Here we go. All right. There's infinity. Okay. So my thought process, I'm going to jump over here. So I've told you many times before in other videos that I did not get into comic books really until I was an adult. I was like 20 or 21 when I started really reading comic books, and I fell in love with comics. Before that, like I'd read, I mean, the Garfield comics, in the 90s. I remember going to the library and getting a book of Garfield, and getting, let's see, like just some of the funnies you would read in the newspaper, and they were just comic strips, which is not exactly the same kind of experience that you'd get reading comics. So 90s comics, 80s comics, I love the way that they look. I like to me, it's this, it's symbolic almost, but for me, it's not like a, I don't know, it's not something that I'm drawn to. So I'm more drawn to modern comic art. I realize there's a lot of bad modern comic art out there. And so I wanted to show you one of my favorites, and I've said this before, is Phil Noto. I've always loved, especially this run on Black Widow. I bought this whole set in floppies just because the art, and what I liked about it is that he varied his art style. So this is not traditional comic art by any stretch of the imagination, but still, like, look how beautiful that is. But you're not getting the inks, the ink lines, anything like that. It's definitely different. Let's look through a few more. Again, really cool. Love this. So non-traditional, I think this is my favorite cover of all of them. Non-traditional comic art has always appealed to me. I don't know. I guess that's just what I like about indie comics, especially, is that you can change it up a little bit and yeah, get something else. I'm just going to check on chat real quick. Phil Noto is a he. Oh, my artist, if that's what you're talking about. My artist is a he, and I'll be introducing you to him. He's not going to be on the air here because he doesn't really feel comfortable with it. I talked to him about it, and that's okay. He doesn't need to the talking. We'll let his work to the talking while people are filtering in as well. So Dan Duncan, he started the new run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was the first artist. They did the first like 2 or 3 trade paperbacks worth of comics, I think. I really like his art style. In fact, this image I have on my Twitter account. This is like the banner. It's from this cover, which is possibly one of my favorite covers of all time, because there's just so much, like, they look like they're trying so hard, especially Leonardo here at the top. So I like his work. Again, this is maybe more traditional, but the way that he does his inking and stuff is different. One more quick, and then I'll show you my work. But Fiona Staples is another artist that, again, I've never actually read any of the books. This is from Saga. This is very untraditional, like inking style and coloring style, and it's very painterly. So you'll sort of see a trend here with the colors. I love a painterly style. One more thing I want to say here, and actually I'll let you see. This is some artwork from Downcast. And while you're looking at it, I'm going to explain, yeah, I guess a little bit about it. So something that drew me to this style of art is that it's different. It's definitely indie comic looking, and it's something that excited me. It has that painterly style, especially in the colors, and it's kind of rough and sketchy with the inks. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see with the buildings here, it's like almost has like a grunge look to it. So it's not like neat. And I love that. I realize that's not for everyone. But it honestly, like, if I'm excited about the art, then I want this book to do well. I believe in it. So that's why I went with it essentially. Okay. So one other thing I want to point out is you'll notice I don't have, even though I've got, this is a brother and a sister duo, I don't have a big busty female lead. Now, I have no problem if there's lots of Comicsgate books that have, sexy women in them. I have no problem with that. The thing is, though, when I chose an artist and we were talking about characters and styles and things like that, this story is supposed to be a teen story, young adult, and it's action. And the point of it would be for new readers to be able to get in, for it to be an accessible book. It's not really a superhero story, though. I mean, I guess you could say that, but it is. Yeah, I mean, the idea is it's accessible. People could get in and read it, and it's not mature. There's a lot of books out there that are for mature readers. That's not the story that I want to write. So we picked this because it works for the story. Now, so the artist, his name is Ignacio Lazaro. He goes by Nacho, which is fun. But he had so many great ideas with the city. You can see in the background here, he's even got the color holds on the blacks and the inks. So there's a lot of depth in this photo image. And yeah, he added all these little things I didn't think of, like underneath, like these might be pipes or something, tethering things so they don't float away too far. He just had a lot of great ideas how these floating like barges would look. So many really cool things. So I am personally really, really excited about this. And yeah, this is just one image. So let me look at chat real quick, and then we're going to look at Nacho's portfolio. Hails, yeah. Hail Edwin, welcome. All right, awesome. So yeah, this is a little Inception here. I just want to check on you guys. Sorry, I don't have super chat working still. So, oh yeah, and I'm a bigot. Thank you, Gail. That's awesome. Yeah, we saw you in War Campaign earlier. That was pretty great. Okay, so here is Nacho's portfolio. I want to show you something here. First off, this Hellboy picture, you'll start to see some of the style decisions I think that he made. I would say, I mean, I should ask him about his influences, but I do see Mike Mignola influences in his artwork. Again, this is something personally that I really like about his style. Most importantly, though, was his storytelling ability. And I think this is a good example, actually. Yeah, we're going to have to look here on the left side with me. We're going to run through these pages. I think there's 3 or 4 pages, and there's no dialogue whatsoever. It's just storytelling, visual storytelling. So we'll start at the top here. He's digging. You got the crows. Breathing. It's cold. Crack. Oh, he got through. There's a dead woman. I have no idea what the story's about. Face. Next page. Shotgun. Right. Shotgun. I imagine there would be some dialogue happening here, but you don't need it. You can tell that there's a conversation happening. There's something happening. Eyes are scared, but look at that. Someone came behind the man with the shotgun and killed him, saving the bearded dude. So this seems really simple, but from a storytelling perspective, this is really, really good visual storytelling. When I saw this, and my wife could attest to this, I was looking through his portfolio and I started following some of these pages. He's got others as well, sequential pages. without seeing any words, any dialogue, I can follow exactly what's happening in this story. That's awesome. That's what I want. So that's one thing I really liked. You can see sort of the, I guess, kind of sketchy look. That's a great image. Lots of great images. He has a very distinctive style when it comes to faces as well. And we actually worked through the characters' faces probably a lot. He was really patient with me because I had a very specific way that I wanted, especially Joe, to look. So I'm really grateful that he went with that. So he's got like a zombie story here. Again, let's see. Storytelling. We're going to follow this along. Walking through, see the voices, look at the panel. He's getting bit from behind, diving. This stuff is easy to overlook and think that it's, well, yeah, that's just how comics work. But if you've worked with a lot of artists, or you know, especially artists that don't have a lot of published work behind them, then yeah, you can definitely take this for granted. Okay, look at that Batman image just in black and white. Very cool. Again, with the sketchy look, he's a very good artist. He can draw things realistically. So these are stylistic decisions, and personally, I really like them. And this is a great one here too. In color, you can see the inks here on the right. Let me get this out of the way. And then in colors, and he is actually going to be the colorist on the project as well. We talked a lot about that. Originally, I had a different colorist picked, and yeah, we were going to do him doing the inks and someone else doing the colors. But the more we talked about it, it just made sense for him to do it, both like for financial reasons, it made more sense. And then also just, he knew how he wanted to color it. And so he could do his inks so that the line art and the colors could work together well. So I really, yeah, I liked that. This one's amazing. Actually, this one's at the top. He's got some naked figures in here, so I'm like afraid of YouTube. It's just illustration, but yeah, look at that. That one's great. Let me get back up to the top here. Warning, there are some naked illustrations. We'll get to the top though. Yeah, there's Ignacio. Here's the colored version of that same picture down below. He does a great job with lighting as well. There's some nakedness right there. Sorry. Here's some more. Yeah, another thing here is faces. From my perspective as a writer, I want to be able to see emotion. So the way that I'll do it is, I don't want to tell exactly, like right in the script, in this panel, the main character is raising their eyebrows and their eyes are open wide and sweat is dripping off their brow. I don't have to say that. I want the artist to be able to convey something, how they feel they want to convey it. So I would say that they're shocked, surprised, frightened. You know, think of a great word or a set of words, and then let the artist do their work. And so the fact that I can look at this and read it, not only that this guy is obviously pretty worried and something's going to happen once this page turns, but also notice the panel layout. The ground is going in all sorts of directions. This is a minor thing, but it's actually really important. That makes it much more interesting. There's movement and motion. It feels like, yeah, this car is chasing this dude around the corner. You know, it's going all sorts of different ways. It's yeah, that makes for good storytelling. So I know this one here is from he actually has published work in Argentina. And it's a book called Manta, and it's a superhero that's like a manta ray man. But yeah, so this page is from that. I think he's got a few others. This one, look at the mood in that page. Really, really nice. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about Nacho. And yeah, it's the style that excites me. Here's one more. I'll just take you through the sequence. I think there's 2 pages here. Again, an interesting angle. We're not just looking at everything straight on. You can follow the action, right? Guard dragging a woman by her hair. Man's holding his hand. The guard is beating the woman's face into the wall. He comes over, crunch, kick. These are great action. There's lots of action here. And this is where I see, and I don't know that he is influenced by Dan Duncan at all, but just from my perspective, this is kind of what I liked about Dan Duncan is he has the ink is just messy, and it shows that's how he does the action lines. So I like that. The motion lines, I should say. So let me pull up this again, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Sorry, I haven't been watching chat, but I did want to show it off. Let me look at chat right now. Douglas Ernst, thank you so much for saying congratulations. Really appreciate that. It was great having you on the show last night, right? These are great. This is Corn Muffin Mix. These are great. I'm about to ask him to do a book for me. Don't ask him yet, okay? Because he's busy. But I will say that he actually works with some other artists in the same, I don't know that if they work in the same studio, but he's got artists there that have been, if you're familiar with, oh gosh, I think it's called The Trespasser or Trespasser. That's a book that, he knows the guy that worked on that, and that's been published through Alterna. So yeah, there's some pretty good stuff here. Mr. Bracy 100. Oh man, that V for Vendetta is amazing. Yes, that's another really great one. Solid stuff I'm seeing. Looks great. Can't wait to buy your book. Thank you, Pete. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I stressed about, I'm going to go back up I want to get everybody in here. Look at some of these chats that you put in. I'm really excited about this art. And like I was saying this early in the stream, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but as soon as I looked at his art, I was actually working with the first artist that I had to end up firing, and I was just really unsure. And so I started, I heard about this guy, looked at his art, and I kind of lost it. I got so excited. It's a very distinctive art style. For me personally, it's just something I really, really, I love because it's different. It's unique. It's a distinctive style. And I love that. Trey 50 Daniel says, you still don't have Streamlabs set up yet? So I actually do have Streamlabs set up, but the problem is every time I run it while I'm doing a live stream, if I go for so long, my whole computer would just shut down. So that is probably more of a problem with my computer than anything else. I'm not sure what that's about. So I apologize. I'm going to go back up here some more. Hills. Yep. Your logo. Yeah. Okay. I saw that. All right, cool. Well, cool. And Avid, thanks for dropping in. Thank you. I'm going to pull back up because some of you may not have seen it. I'll show you that cover one more time and share my screen. Let's see. Share screen. Whoops. Wrong one. There we go. There's the cover. So you can see, I don't know, at the least, I just wanted you to see my thinking. I went through a ton of portfolios, really, and it was really hard to settle on an artist because you're not just settling on the art, right? Sure, if, I would love to go and have, oh gosh, like Ethan Van Sciver or, Mike Miller, or like I was saying before, Phil Noto. Just get one of them to do your book. The truth is, this would be my first published, finished book. So being able to score a big name artist is just not realistic. And so it's kind of the give and take that you have to go through. So here I found somebody that's been published a few times. I really believe that he has a ton of potential, and it's something that excited me. And I don't know if that's necessarily the right route to go, but if I'm excited about it, then I'm gonna do good work. He's excited about it. He really had a lot of fun designing this city. So I think you're gonna see a lot more, just cool pages from him. I will say too that I was considering just doing it all black and white because I didn't want to have to pay an artist to do interior colors. just to keep it cheap to make sure it'd be an attainable goal. The thing is, everybody wants to read color. I know I do. I want to read color, especially when he has that great painterly style. That's what we ended up going with. So the whole thing is going to be in color, which is really exciting. But I'm also like, man, I hope I can get enough backers to make this work. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Cool. I'm just gonna check in on your chats again. Avid said the art looks dope. Thank you very much. Brennan says, so what is Downcast about? That's a great question. So Downcast, actually, I've been working on the log line. I'm going to try to remember it the best I can. It's basically about a underclass brother and sister duo that get a piece of the sun. And so this is a fantasy, and that sun has the power basically of the sun. So it can control gravity. It affects gravity. It can change the heat. It can change the weather, all sorts of stuff like that. And they use that power to basically rule over the city to get their father out of prison. So I hope that's a good way. I'm going to have a better way of explaining it that's more official. But essentially, that is it. I wanted to have, flying cars, flying jet bikes, things like that. So yeah, that was sort of the idea there. And let's see. I will say, so someone would ask, is it steampunk? No, it's not steampunk, but it's close to it. I'd almost want to call it like radio punk, or I guess retro futuristic, if you've heard of that phrase. So I'm thinking it's more like 80s technology, but in the future, if that makes sense. So you're not going to have like lots of high tech. It's not science fiction. It's still fantasy, but there's going to be lots of cool technology that's in it that has sort of a retro feel to it. Okay. Durakin says, just because they have a big name, it doesn't mean that they are what is right for your book artistically. Yes, thank you very much. And this, I've always had comments from people saying, you need eye candy. You've got to have just the most gorgeous looking women on the cover. The problem is that this is supposed to be a book that, honestly, like I would be totally happy if a 10 or 11-year-old picked it up, and I think they would enjoy it. Just like I think they would enjoy, a good Spider-Man comic book, but also an adult would enjoy it. But it's not mature themes, if that makes sense. And so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to have, big busty pinups for the cover, because I'm trying to target my audience. So that was, part of the reason why I chose the artist I did. We're going after that target audience. In love with the writer, in love with the reader. Thanks, Avid. That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Love the cover, man. Looks really good. I was hoping it would look good, but man, way exceeded what I was imagining. Thank you, Pete. That makes me happy. It still stresses me out, even though I'm not the one that did the art. It's really stressful because you think, I think this looks good. I tried to give input on the art, and we put it out there, and you still get nervous that people are just going to be like, whoa, this sucks. You have bad taste in art. So yeah, it's been really nice to see people both on Twitter and here that are enjoying it. So that makes me happy. Okay, and then Mr. Bracy 100 says, when it comes to American comics, color always sells better. Yeah, I agree. And that's a reality that I accepted, and it's going to cost more money. It's going to be a little bit harder to fund, but at the same time, it might make it easier to fund. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see, because yes, you have to pay, in my case, the same artist, Nacho. I'm going to have to pay him more. But I think people might be more likely to back it anyway because it's full color. So I don't know. It might end up not mattering, or it might not end up just being better. Okay, Aaron says you will get it funded, bro. Thank you. I'm gonna work my butt off and make sure that it does. Uh, Pete says, eye candy, Sweetcast candy logo. That's true. I did think too, usually, in the top left corner where they have the little logo, like, I don't know. I don't really want to create my own publishing imprint. This is one of those things where if you're self-publishing something, you kind of have to. And it's less about the branding and more about like, how are you putting your book out? So there's definitely more to it there. Honestly, between me and you guys, I would rather just like have it be a Splato comic, or a all caps comic. I'd rather just team up with somebody else rather than creating my own thing. But I don't really think that's an option. So as far as everyone else is concerned, I don't think it'll matter though. You're still going to get a book. So it shouldn't make a difference. One other thing I wanted to bring up is an alternative color or alternative cover rather. I've thought about that a lot. I don't have an artist lined up, like a cover artist to do that. I would really be open to that idea. I think it's a lot of fun, especially where having an alternate cover is not going to hurt a comic shop. In this case, it's just for crowdfunding. And so, it's not going to hurt any comic retailer. It's just for crowdfunding. So to me, there's no downside to doing an alternate cover, except it's going to cost me money initially to get that alternate cover. So that would depend on a lot. I'd have to find one is an artist that would, I guess, sell more. This is part of the numbers game. You got to find an artist that has some kind of a name or is just such a, I guess, fantastic artist that their cover is going to sell better, or maybe get people to buy one of each cover, something like that. That's a hard task. The only way you can do that is having money and or having a relationship with that artist. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Just know that right now I'm not a big name writer. So it's going to be, I don't know if I have any pull there. So Avid says, logo would look cute. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing is some kind of variation of the Sweetcast logo in the top corner. We'll see. I don't know. I'll think about it, but it's also nice to relate it back to the channel because that's how most everybody knows me. Okay. Durakin says, have you talked about James Anderson? He might be up for doing something like that, i.e. publishing under the Varsity label. I have not. I would be open to exploring that. So thanks. That's good advice. Avid says, please no variant covers. If it is good, throw it in the back. As gallery art. Your cover looks great. It'll sell. Thanks. That makes me feel good. I love the cover. I love the artwork. I'm really excited about it. I want it to sell. It's hard for me to know exactly what's going to sell. So yeah, if you guys, let me know. Like right now, like this cover looks really nice. It has a lot of like world building in it already. It gives you a good idea of the setting. So yeah, that's good feedback. Brennan says, we funded 2 comics for Nasser, so I'm pretty sure we can get a competent writer funded. No comment. I will say, have any of you guys watched the Nasser Piece Theater videos? I think there's like 2 of them now. Those were a good laugh. Yeah, I've worked a lot on my craft with writing. You always have to be working and trying to make your stuff better. I understand that. I'm really confident though that this is going to be a good story because I'm going to put a lot of work into it and be listening to feedback. So, okay. Aaron says, I'm really proud of you for the work you're putting in. Thank you. This is, it's been a lot of work, especially as a writer. I don't know. I felt like there's no way I could do this unless I had a YouTube channel. Maybe there is. But the YouTube it's been a ton of work just to be able to network with people and get my name out there. So it's been really helpful and I hope it'll pay off. But it's definitely a nice way for me to talk directly to people in Comicsgate and potential backers. So it's been really nice. And then writing, I've had a lot of late nights writing, and still a lot more work to go. So yeah, thank you for recognizing that it's a lot of work. Yeah, Mr. Brady says, I was watching Masterpiece live. That was hilarious. I didn't catch it live, but yeah, I watched most of it after the fact, and it was pretty darn funny. Dragon says, you guys should fund me because I'm a competent writer. So says my garage web novel. Yeah, or your garbage web novel. Oh my. I think everyone has to get their garbage novel out of the way at some point in time. It's just, I don't know, part of the process. But yeah, get a artist together when you're ready, when you feel ready. Yeah, and it'll be nice to see something come together. That'll be good. So I don't know. Any other questions from anybody? Do you want to see the cover one more time? It's on Twitter, but I realize not everybody's on Twitter. I might also post it in, how they have the community posts here on YouTube. I think I'll post it there just so everybody can see it if you'd like to. And yeah, I'm really stoked because now we're going to be starting work on the first 5 pages. Yeah, post the cover for sure. Show the cover here. I'll show it again, and I'm going to ignore chat then because I only have one screen. But that way you can see the cover while I yammer on for a few minutes anyway. Share screen. There we go. There we go. There's a cover. Maybe I'll zoom in and out. Yeah, I'll post this for sure. Yeah, I love looking at this cover and I want to talk about it some more. I hope that's okay. So first thing, he started with just the really rough sketches of what the cover would look like. I did post those on Twitter. They're really rough, but I think it's nice because he was thinking about the general composition first, as opposed to the directions I gave him were that I wanted to see the city. It wouldn't just be focused on the characters because the location was so important to the book. And I also was hoping that it would sell the book because people are interested in this kind of thing. It's different. So I told him I wanted to see the city. I wanted to see Joe and I wanted to see James, and I wanted Joe to be more prominent. She is the older sister. And I, at least in the first issue, will say basically I'm writing 3 issues, but we're going to put them all together. She's, I guess, sort of more prominent in that, but they're definitely co-stars because I've got a lot of great moments planned for James. But he planned out the whole, basically the composition first, which I think was smart. And then he added in the details. We went back and forth a lot on the looks of their faces, and something that I liked that Nacho did, again, he's a great visual storyteller, is that he looked at the script first and he learned a little bit, and it didn't take him long, but he learned a little bit about their personalities. And so Joanne, spoiler alert, she's a little bit more serious. She's analytical kind of thinker. And then James is a very, he's, I guess, lighthearted, but he's also a very believing person. And so they have both of those characteristics. And so he picked up on that. I didn't mention it at all, but he made James smiling, sort of smirking here, and Joanne is, I guess, serious or determined. So I think that'll make for some really interesting interplay between the brother and sister duo. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So yeah, I really, really like this cover. I actually mocked up the logo over the top here. I got to make sure that the logo is right for it. Thankfully, it's really early in the project and that doesn't have to be decided right now. But I do have that great logo that Illustrator Monk made, and it's just black, so we can change the color. But yeah, I've been looking at a few different things, and yeah, we'll see what works. Something else he did I hadn't thought of was plumbing in a city. If you're in a city in the sky, yeah, where does the poop go? That's the question. So he had lots of, I guess, sewer lines, pipes. You've got to have water lines. all sorts of stuff. And I'm sure that's all the business he has underneath the city here. That's just, I mean, he really thought things through. He is excited about this project, which was another reason why I was really happy to snatch him up as the artist. Yeah, if you are interested in finding artists, I will say some of the other guys that have worked with him have been really fantastic. I'm just going to look through some of his stuff again while we're talking. They've been fantastic artists as well, and so I had seriously like two other guys that work in his same studio that I was considering. I thought that his style fit my story the best. But if you're interested, I could just send me an email at, let's see, it's sweetcastclint@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to like share that information because I thought there were some fantastic artists in that studio. All right, I'm going to just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Sorry, I've got to figure out a better way to do this. Looks cool, dude. Thank you very much. It's McGee. Thank you. Aaron, I love hearing your excitement for this. Yeah, and I'm seriously, I should have my wife come on and tell you when I first started looking at his art, she was like, okay, well, why don't you pick that artist then? And I was like humming and hawing over it. And she's like, no, pick that artist because he's the one that excites you. And he does. Yeah, he does really good work. Yeah, composition's good first. Great, great, great. All right, cool, guys. If there's any last minute questions, pop them in now. Otherwise, I'm going to start spreading the art around. You can see it. And yeah, I'll try to keep you up to date. I've been trying to be very, very transparent about this whole process. So I hope that's been helpful for you. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and that'll be great. Oh, here we go. A question to Racken. So are you doing 3 chapters all in one book? That's the whole story. So right now it's still kind of open, I guess. I decidedly made it that way. I have it planned out so it could be 3 issues, so 3 chapters in a full story, and we could do like a nice thick issue, so it'd basically all be in one thing. But I would also be open to actually doing like a 4-issue long, so it'd be like 4 chapters long. The problem is I can't make it too long because I have to be able to make it an obtainable goal. So I'm still working all of those kinds of details out. And a lot of that, I really am just talking with a few other people that know more than I do to make sure I'm making the right decision. So I hope that answers your question. And Adam, congrats. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Well, I'm going to sign off then. Thanks y'all for watching. Really appreciate it. And yeah, look for more Downcast art soon. I will talk to you all later.